Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Australian Online Supercar Championship. We're coming to you live tonight from Zolder for the first of our 60-60 broadcasts. But before we get into it, let's introduce ourselves. It's myself, Bernie Weemers, and in the comm box with me tonight is Daniel Leet. Welcome, Daniel.
Yeah, good evening, Bernie, and good evening, viewers. Great looking day we've got down here at Zolder. 60 plus cars on the grid, so lots of action-packed racing we're in store for.
Yeah, we certainly are, and if you're looking at the moment, folks, we are in qualifying, and how long we got till the end of qualifying? Let's have a look. I think it's about 3 minutes.
Yeah, so 3.5 minutes to go for qualifying. Top five looking very tight at the moment. We've got Dane Warren, his best time 1:29.8.6, 3/10 up from Marlon McMullen. Jordan Ross in third currently. Brian Borg, I think, is actually in pits at the moment, sitting in fourth, and Jake Maloney in five. So 0.6 of a second, round out the top five pretty quick.
Yeah, it's really close, isn't it? We can see a lot of the guys are actually sitting in the pits, so yeah, we'll see if any of them are coming out, but we've got a huge field again here, folks. I'm having a look, and the list goes on. 60 entries once again tonight.
Yeah, I don't know where you go and fit 60 cars around Zolder. It's a pretty small, compact little circuit, but it's a fantastic turnout though, isn't it?
Oh, it's awesome. It's absolutely great. And for those of you tonight new to the Australian Online Supercar Championship, the way it's going to run tonight, 60-60 with two sprint races. So at the moment they're out there qualifying for race one, and then we'll have that race. And after that, they'll change out servers. We go back to qualifying for race two, and they do it all again, Daniel. Yeah,
so it's a pretty short little round, this one. So the two 15-lap races, so it's about 25 minutes per race. We may see one safety car for this one, and I believe it's only if there's major incidences. There will be one fast repair for all drivers tonight, and they will do post-race reviews. So the guys out here tonight have to be really careful not to get the off tracks, because they've only got a 15 limit incident cap tonight. So you may see some post-race penalties, especially moving into the next round, where some guys may have fallen down or taken a little bit of a points hit.
Yeah, well, around here, I'm not sure, as we see now, Henry King getting it all wrong, going across the chicane there and straight into the wall.
Yeah, and it's there's going to be some really hard moves that these guys have to get and do. We've got three good braking chances in all the chicanes, and then I think you've got the final hairpin just after the second chicane before you head towards the back straight. So the guys are going to have to be pretty careful with where they want to pass, and I think there's going to be a lot of bumping and grinding as they get through turn one, turn two on this opening lap as well.
Yeah, definitely. One of the viewers said good luck for turn 160 cars. Rest in peace, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. I expect to see half a dozen either off the side of the road or in the dirt at the end.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think I've even seen 60 cars line up at Zolder, so I think they're going to be starting all around the first chicane or the last chicane there.
Yeah, more than likely there will be a lot of guys, as you say, getting through that chicane. And for the circuit tonight, we're using the GP layout, so it is a tight last chicane, which for cars stacked side by side, going to be very interesting seeing how they get off the line.
Yeah, definitely. And folks, we're going to try our very best to bring you as much of this action as we can. 60 cars, though, there's a heck of a lot to cover. So if we miss some of the action, just cut us a little bit of slack tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure some of the viewers that we've got are most likely watching this live. So if they do see any incidents, almost act like another pair of eyes, let us know. We'll jump back and have a bit of a look. But 60 cars tonight around here is going to be a very tall order.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you can see now, I think qualifying is actually starting now, with 9:48 out, and everyone all of a sudden is streaming out of the pits like it's a Monday morning peak hour on the M5 in Sydney.
Yeah, so we've actually jumped the gun. So qualifying going to be interesting. Like I say, everyone's out now, so do you play the long game, wait a little bit for everyone to get out, or do you look at pushing out and hopefully being the first car on track?
I think I'd rather be the first car on track, get a hot lap in, and then you're going to be in traffic. But last car out, I reckon if you waited, you're going to be almost having the leaders on top of you before you can start your lap.
Yeah, definitely. And with the nature of some of the corners where you are in the turns for quite a long time, some of these guys, if they don't get that quite right, will drag a lot of dirt and garbage back on the road, which in turn will affect those guys behind them on their hot lap. So it's going to be very interesting just to see what they decide to do here, and then obviously how they finish up in the results for qualifying.
Oh, definitely, and we'll bring you the top 10 shortly, folks. We can see them coming around now. At the moment, Brian Borg's in the front of the pack, and he's about to start his hot lap. Right behind him, though, is Michael Hammond. So here we go, the first of the hot laps, 8 minutes 25 to go, and they're on to lap 1. Yeah,
it's looking like Brian and the Lays Racing boys are actually sporting some new liveries tonight, which is good to see. So we're going to wish them the best of luck in the qualifying, and hopefully we're going to see some really strong results out of this team.
Yeah, definitely, and as long as they can put together some good results, because I tell you what, Daniel, if you don't, you're going to be buried in this pack, and I tell you what, there's no digging your way out of that.
No, well, there's not a lot of room to make you move, and we sort of detailed earlier, the only real spots you've got are those braking points in the chicanes, and those chicanes, if you get them wrong, you're up over the bollards in the middle, or you've got terrible traction, or you're putting it into a wall. So it's very critical to get those nailed and get it right.
Yeah, definitely, and we've seen some pretty big accidents as we see one of the cars, that's Alan, going off at the chicane. He was on his warm-up lap, and this is what I was saying earlier. He's still trying to get around one lap, and already the leaders have passed him, and that's ruined Brian Borg's run. So he's backed out. Michael Hammond, he's still pushing. See Henry King in the Zuva entry just ahead of him, and he's just got out of jail, so he'll get a good fast lap here before the leaders get all over him.
Yeah, and with what we're seeing too, with the amount of cars that are out there, the guys have been going for just over 3 minutes. We still haven't got a solid lap time put in for this qualifying order yet, so should just be change that Dane Warren back up top, minute 30.027. So that's a pretty quick lap considering the amount of cars that are out here now. Yeah, so you can see your top 10 there, folks. They'll change as the times come in, but at the moment Dane Warren is in provisional pole, 1:30.028. Michael Hammond, 1:38.57. Matt Stratford now in third, 1:30.923. Jordan Ross, now we're starting back into the 1:31s. He's sitting in fourth, and then Michael Talenjak rounds out your top 5 at the moment. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised possibly if Dane maybe sits the rest of this session out now. He's put in a really good time, 8.5 tenths up on Michael Hammond, so he doesn't really need to do a lot, and it's actually going to make it very hard for Michael Hammond and Matt Stratford and all the guys following them to put in a decent lap and bridge that gap. Yeah, and one of the viewers said here the guys are going to have to watch the curbs a little bit because they're claiming it can damage the engine. I know the curbs are really big, but I haven't heard that one before, but they could be onto something. Yeah, possibly. I mean, there's a lot to be made up if you can get the curbs right, and a lot of that is going to come down to your suspension setup. But I've not seen a V8 blow an engine around here. And I don't know if it is legitimate or not, but if it is, I mean, that's another bit of added entertainment. These guys are going to have to be very careful of getting around. Yeah, definitely. I know one thing it does in a Skip Barber, if you hit those curbs, it launches you almost into space. Well, yeah, definitely. And I know in previous seasons when I've run the GT3 cars around here, everyone knows normally the curbs are not a friend, but it's even harder to get the line where you're avoiding all the curbs and still maintaining good drive. But I think the V8, we know it's got a lot of suspension travel there. it should hopefully soak those bumps up pretty nicely, and if they can get the drive out of the corner, it will definitely help them leading up to the next chicane, or turn two, second chicane there, sorry.
Yeah, and we just had some more news. One of the viewers said during the Dev series they blew a motor up around here, so it's definitely possible.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Some guys, and I guess it comes down to the way you drive the cars, you'll see them bang down the gears and use a lot of engine braking. Others may use the brakes a lot more, so it'll be interesting to see whether we do have any issues, and if we do, hopefully they're not up the front, because if you've got a car that's stranded with the rest of them getting through, good luck with that one.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, we're looking at the moment Dave Oliver here. He's qualified so far in 53rd, and he's yet to put in a time. This will be his time, but he's down there in traffic, and I'm sure he's going to be wanting to get out of that position, because 53rd, mate, you're not even going to get off the grid before the leaders start to lap you.
No, not at all, and you will be playing catch-up for the entire race on that one. But just having a quick look through the times that are being posted so far, we're looking at almost a 5.5 second spread between first and 45th currently, which is Matt Torkins there. So we saw Dane 1:30.02. The other end of the spectrum, Matt's a minute 35.63, so pretty big time difference, and a lot of that will all come down to the amount of traffic that's out here tonight.
Oh, definitely, and Dave Oliver, he jumped from 53rd up to 11th on that lap, so he can breathe a bit easier. He's up at the pointy end of the field, and he's going to hopefully stay out of a lot of trouble, because I reckon there's going to be a lot in this first lap.
Yeah, sure will, but probably the two key corners, especially in the start, will be turn 1, which is a really late apex left-hand corner, and then you get into turn 3 and 4, which are right-handers, but there's a lot higher speed, and you can get two cars wide through there, but the guy on the outside's got to be very careful to watch out for that dirt, and if you mess that up, it's going to ruin your run towards that first chicane there.
Yeah, well, I'm predicting in that first chicane, possibly in the first corner, if there's an accident up front, it's going to be an accident of unprecedented proportions, and we might even get the track blocked tonight. Now, if that happens in 60-60 racing, what do they do? I'm not sure if they even pull out a safety car in these sprint races.
I dare say there'll be one safety car if it is a major wreck. Ideally, from what we saw last season, they will try and run them through, and any indiscretions will be handled post-race, but if it is something serious like that where it does affect the entire field, I wouldn't be surprised if the organisers do take a safety car approach to it.
Yeah, it makes sense, wouldn't it, to settle them down, because they don't have a lot of time in these races, sprint races, so it's head down and push as hard as you can till a checkered flag comes out. But I tell you what, it's going to make for very exciting racing all the same.
Oh, it will. I mean, we saw it was Mosport when they first started the series, where 60 cars around there, it was tight, compact racing. We're going to have the same thing here. The only difference, obviously, you're going to have a few chicanes where it's going to bunch that field right up, but everyone's going to have to be on their toes to avoid incidents.
Yeah, and one person that has to be on their toes at the moment, qualifying has not gone his way. Jason Bentz at the moment, sitting down in 56th position, desperate to try to get some free track around here. He's got around one person, but he's on to his probably one and only flying lap around here tonight.
Yeah, and another car that's a long way down from where we'd expect is actually Jason's teammate Brian Borg, and those two both sitting in 58th, 59th respectively, with no times posted yet. So if they don't get the lap in, that's a very long haul to try and work your way up somewhere in this field.
Yeah, well, we just saw exactly how treacherous it is around here for Jason. He came up on the traffic into the chicane, got totally blocked up there, didn't improve his lap. In fact, he aborted that lap, and He's got a hell of a lot of work to do, that's for sure. And as you said, Brian Borg also 55th at the moment, trying to improve on his time.
Yeah, it's definitely not the qualifying result that these guys would have wanted. And like we said, that's the hard part. Where do you first go out on track, and then how do you manage trying to get a bit of room in front of you and behind you to set a decent lap? So unfortunately it looks like it hasn't paid off for both of those two guys, but they've still got Michael Hammond sitting up in third at the moment. So still, while not the best result for two of their guys, they've still got a third up at the pointy end of this field.
Yeah, so we're watching Brian Borg now come across to see if he can actually improve his time. Sitting down 55th, and the time he's aiming for, folks, at 1:30.028 as he comes out now. He's had a clear track. What can he do here tonight as he comes across the line? Awesome. Up to 16th position, Daniel.
Yes, that's good recovery. He didn't have any traffic in front, which really helped to that. So 16th, not the best start, but still much better than being at the back of the field.
Oh, definitely. But I tell you what, while they're trickling out, let's go through the qualifying positions, because we're going to be here probably till tomorrow night just calling this field.
Yep.
Okay, so Dane Warren, he's going to start from pole position tonight, followed by Matt Stratford in second. Michael Hammond, he'll start out a third with Dale for Oliver in fourth. Great drive there by Dave Oliver. Mick Cracknell, he'll start out at fifth. Sixth tonight is Brady Mayers. Seventh, Thomas Hinds. Eighth, Jordan Ross, followed by Marlon McMullen in ninth. 10th will be Jake Maloney. Then we have Michael Tallenjack out of 11th, and rounding out your top 12, Thomas McMillan.
In 13th, Brodie Whitmore. 14th is Brett Laxton. 15th, Stephen Varga. Brian Borg in 16th. Jamie McKnight is 17th. Riley Blythe in 18th. Daniel Trim in 19th. Brendan Jackson in 20th. Luke Page 22nd. Sean Chappell in 22nd. Wayne Taylor in 23rd. Craig Jones 24th. Henry King is 25th. Adam Wyburton in 26th. David Miller in 27th. Jonathan Ben in 28th, Jacob Knight in 29th, and Scott Stephen in 30th.
Out of 31st tonight will be Simon Masomo, followed by Jeff Gauci in 32nd. 33rd, Paul Preston. 34th is Brenton O'Brien, followed by Daryl Hockey, and then Paul Tajavara is in 36th. Starting out of 37th tonight is David Kinmond, followed by Jaden Borg and Peter Derrick. Out of 40th, Matt Lepodovan, followed by Matthew Clowett. Rounding out your field of 42, Daniel Vassell.
In 43rd is Paul Chechi. Mitchell Bales in 44th. Nathan Tregarthen in 45th. Nick Heusler 46th. Shane Rayner in 47th. Troy Allen is 48th. Tony Gaffer 49th. Dean Landy in 50th. Jai Potts 51st. Mark Fee is next. Colin Brunis is 53rd. Mark Newton in 54th. Matt Torkins was our last car to settle up in 55th, and the cars that didn't settle up tonight, we've got Jason Bentz, Ray Caesar, Warren Gilbanks, Daniel Stephen, and Wayne Pengley.
So folks, that is your grid tonight of 60 cars, and it's hold on to your whatevers, because it's going to get interesting into turn one here. As we can see now, the field starting to get ready. We can see Craig Jones out there, Brian Borg lined up under starters orders here, folks. Revs will be rising, and we'll be racing at Zolder any moment. So green flag here at Zolder. See the smoke. We're underway here for race one of the V8 Supercars coming into turn one. Oh my goodness, this is just crazy.
Yeah, we saw some cars 5 wide. I've got Mullins is actually being turned and off the grass in turn one. Yeah, 5 and 6 cars wide on the opening start. It's pretty insane racing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we've got 3 cars. Henry King's off out on the dirt. A lot of damage to his car. I think he's rejoining, but back here 3 wide coming into turn 3, and it's just absolutely mental. But looking up front, Dane Warrens is leading them through for the first time. Then we've got Matt Stratford in second, and we can just see them streaming through, and there's a big accident out the back under yellow here at Zolder, and I tell you what, that was to be expected.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars involved in this. I'm just trying to work out exactly who we got, but yeah, that we kind of expected. But yeah, that's 15 or 20 cars at least involved in that one there.
Yeah, and I'm just having a look at the long list of cars that have been affected on this start, and just having a quick look. We've got Marlon McMullen, Jamie McKnight, Jake Maloney, Thomas McMillan, Henry King, Luke Page, Brennan O'Brien, Paul Preston, Daryl Hockey, Paul Tajavara, Matt Clowett, Wayne Taylor, Nick Hausler, Paul Chakudi, Simon Masomo, Dane Warren, Jacob Knight, Wayne Pengilly, and Jay Potts. Shane Rayner rounds out your field of how many people are involved in that accident.
That's a lot of cars, isn't it? Now, all these guys will have one quick repair, so if they have a chance to do it while the safety car's out, we may see a big heap of cars make their way to the lane. But yeah, what a start. 60 cars, we expected a bit of damage, and maybe not as much as that, but yeah, quite a few injured cars in that lot.
Yeah, so having a look at the replay here of the first accident, and we can just see it there coming into turn one, claiming the 248. The 85 was involved in that as well, folks, and then the carnage continues.
Yeah, but quite well to get through the first chicane, but it seemed like on that run out, guys started spreading out or may not have got the best start, and as they're making their way around that left into the second chicane, that's sort of where all hell broke loose, and so many more cars were damaged up.
Yeah, and we saw we basically saw Henry King get caught up there, 3 wide into turn 2, didn't go, and he pretty much come unstuck. Let's jump back and have a look at what happened after that first incident, and if we can find out that big accident we had going into the chicane for the first time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out where that's actually started from, because the amount of cars on here, I'm actually struggling to keep up with them all, but yeah, pretty bad to see a lot of those guys actually as damaged as they were.
Yeah, and we're having a look here as they're coming around, and yeah, it all started with Brenton O'Brien being pushed off, Matt Clowett, I think, in the Kiani entry, and Brenton heavily into the wall. It actually started at the back of the field, and the last 6 were the guys that got caught. We can see the 067, he went up on his wheels about 3 times, and over he goes. Well, there you go, he's back on all 4, thanks to iRacing.
Yeah, it's not something you'd see normally in real life. iRacing does a good job of making sure those cars end up on all 4 wheels where possible, but hopefully now we've got everyone back into a single line. Obviously we'll see a few hit the lane for quick repairs. Hopefully the start for this next time will definitely be a lot cleaner for these guys.
Yeah, well, they should allow them to spread out now, but your top 10 at the moment, folks: Dane Warren, he's leading, Matt Stratford 2nd, Michael Hammond 3rd, Brady Mayers 4th, 5th, Michael Cracknell, Jordan Ross back there in 6th, Dave Oliver 7th, Thomas Hinds 8th, 9th, Brian Borg, and rounding out your top 10 is Michael Tallinger.
And I'm just having a quick look here, some of the guys that are in pits, and I think there's been a few tows involved in getting some of these cars back, because we're upwards of 2.5 minutes for a few guys at the moment. So Paul Ciocci, 3 minutes so far, Marlon McMullen, 1.5 minutes, Matt Clowett's only just got in, he's 15 seconds. So who else have we got? Dale Hockey's in there, Paul Tajvara, so a couple of guys that would have liked to be a lot further up. As a result of having tows, are going to find themselves about a lap down now.
Yeah, we can see Daryl Hockey's just rejoined. He's 1 lap down. Paul Chakudi, he's also a lap down and rejoined. The drivers, I'm not sure if they're still out there. Let's have a look. I'm looking for Matt Clowett at the moment. I think he may have left the server, and you can see just all the cars in pit lane at the moment, folks, getting repairs, desperate to get going with 13 laps left of this race, and it's been quite costly for a number of teams tonight.
Yeah, it definitely has. And looks like Matt Clout was one of our first retirements for the night after that. So, bit of a shame, but we're going to have to keep our eye on the front. Looks like the lights are off on the safety car as the guys are working their way up towards the second chicane here. So, pretty close to getting a restart, and hopefully the guys that are pitted can make their way on the back of the train.
Yeah, so we can see there Dane Warren will lead them off and Matt Stratford back there, but have a look how far this train goes, folks, because it's still coming. It's like, what do you call it, one of those 4th of July parades, but of course they're not in floats, and I was going to say the Mardi Gras, but the blokes wouldn't like that, would they?
No, probably not, but it's just like a big python getting around there. It's a long train of cars, and you want to be up the front where Dane and the boys are, but the guys at the back will want to look for a little bit cleaner restart on this one and avoid some more issues.
Yeah, well, if you're up the back, it's all just a matter of pretty much survival, isn't it? And try to capitalise as best you can on where you can get home. But you can see now the safety car's in. Dane Warren's got a couple of car lengths. He's waiting for the field to catch up. They are now, and looked like Matt was backing him up, but here we go again, folks. 13 laps remaining at Zolder as we come back into turn 1.
Yeah, it was a good jump by Brodie Mayers. He was right up on the outside of Michael Hammond there. He read the start pretty well, and Dane, I think, needed to sort of back it up just a bit so he didn't get past that safety car, but looks like a pretty good recovery. Just saw one of the cars off on the dirt there. It was Thomas Hinds through turn 2.
Yeah, and we're just having a look at all the field go through. They're still streaming through, but let's get back up to the pointy end of this race, because that's where all the action's going to be. So you can see them coming through the chicane for the first time. It's looking like a nice clean start here.
Yeah, definitely much better than we saw it. I'm just looking back a little further at we got Scott Stevens and Matt Lepoitovan having a pretty good battle. They've gone back in single file through the first chicane, but much tidier restart than what we saw in the opening start.
Yeah, we saw Stephen Varga get a little bit crossed up there. He's recovered, and they're running a retro livery tonight. And coming through, though, for lap 1. Already the guys up the back, they're over half a lap down, but we can see at the moment Matt Stratford coming through. Dane Warren, well, he's clearing out at the moment in that Rack Corp entry and doing a great job.
Yeah, it's something we've sort of come to expect a little with Dane now. He gets really good starts. He's got great pace that we've seen at some of the other events, and he's doing everything he needs to do right now to make a gap and clear away from this pack.
And we're trying to find where the action is, and there's action aplenty. We can see Riley Blythe back here in 11th, putting pressure on Brodie Whitmore and trying to get that car up into the top 10.
Yeah, if Riley gets a good drive out of turn 3 here, I'd look for him to look up the inside heading into the first chicane, and doesn't quite seem close enough with the drive, so potentially we'll stay behind, set him up into the second chicane.
Yeah, and you can see him going through there. He got a bit of a poor exit, but it's to be expected when you're right up behind someone like that coming into the chicane. We can see under brakes there, Whitmore getting a bit squirrely, and that's allowed Riley to close right up, a bit of a love tap.
Yeah, Brodie looks like he's just got a little excited with Brett Laxton, who was just in front of him there, and looking for a move, and it has unsettled that car on the brakes, and Riley's done a great job. He's got the rear locked up. He's putting enormous pressure on Brodie at the moment, but they're keeping it nice and tidy.
Yeah, good driving by the two at the moment as we're coming through once more, and that's a battle all the way down intense. Right behind him though, we've got Dave Oliver. He got as high as 7th, but he's dropped back a little bit now. He's coming under pressure from Thomas Hinds, and yeah, but we better get back up the front because Dane Warren at the moment has a gap of 1.8 seconds. Matt Stratford second, third is Michael Hammond.
Yeah, it's a good showing too from Michael. He's not letting the guys in front go. Matt Stratford's only half a second up the road, so pretty good little gap, but Dane is really showing a clean set of heels and starting to walk away.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do around here when you've got 60 V8 supercars behind you. You want to clear out and let them worry about the traffic.
Yeah, definitely. And another little good start to this race has actually been for Brian Borg. He's jumped up from his starting position at 16th to be up inside the top 10 in 7th. So great drive from Brian there.
Yeah, and he's got some clear track around him, so it's looking good for him. But it doesn't take long, does it, to look back deep into the field, and all of a sudden that's where the action is. You've got cars nose to tail, and it's just an endless stream. We can see Scott Stevens down here in 23rd position and looking very busy. Yeah,
and I'm just watching Henry King here. Got a lot of damage on the front nose of that car, and I just saw, who was that? One of the GTI cars going very slow. It was Mark Newton into the hairpin, just sort of rolling off to the outside.
Yeah, we'll go back and have a look at what's happened to him. I'm just trying to work it out. Yeah, he's had a few offs here.
Yeah, just after he sort of cleared the track, there was some good little bit of 3 wide where the guys are getting over the top of each other, with Jason Bentz getting a bit of a rub from Wayne Pengilly, and Brett O'Brien trying to make his way back up the field with no rear deck lid on the back of that car, and some few torn up cars, but the guys aren't letting them go.
No, well, we're having a look at this replay. Mark Newton actually collided on exit, and I'm just trying to get a number as one of the Synergy Sim races there, and he's had to limp that car all the way around with damage, so coming out of the pits just didn't work, and I think he may have parked it up the back there.
Yeah, there's another good little battle here for 30th, 29th and 28th with Paul Preston, Jaden Borg and David Kidman, and oh geez, you've got a whole heap up more front. Matt Lepoitovin's up there, Dave Oliver, Jeff Gautsy, so 25th to 30th all pretty much nose to tail and all looking for a spot past each other.
You can see Mitchell Bales also just behind them here trying to get onto this battle pack. I'll tell you what, I wonder what these guys are going to be dreaming about tonight. What do you think?
A much bigger circuit than this one, I think, but Henry King's getting real racy up on the back. Who's he on? Sean Chappell, who's in the back of Adam Wyverton, who's in the back of Steve Vargas. So the guys are using each other as braking markers at the moment and pulling these cars up, but Adam Wyverton's got a good run into turn 1, which just gives enough room there to Stephen Varga and those two get on and move into turn 2. So
what number are you looking at? Because I've got so many cars.
So I've got Stephen Varga, who's the 868. He's currently in 18th place. He's got Adam Wyverton, one of the Synergy cars, the car 101 in 19th, right up his date as they work their way up towards the first chicane. And just behind them, Henry King in the Zuva car has got mirrors full of Sean Chappell, who's got his mirrors full of David Miller and Scott Stevens joining in the back of this. So I don't know where you look, there's cars going for good battles everywhere around here.
Yeah, we're just riding with Scott Stevens through there, and we'll have a look up at Henry King. He's, of course, trying to recover from that bad start. He was involved in that 3-car incident on turn 2, lap 1. He's had a good recovery, though. He's got back up to 20th, so if he finishes in that position, I think he'll be reasonably happy.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Scott, just watching Scott Stevens back in 23rd, he's got a bit of a gap to the guys in front. He's given them room to sort of fall over themselves, but that Fusion Sim Racing car, I think that's actually a new paint livery that's been debuted tonight, and it looks quite sharp out there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want to debut a new, nice shiny new paint job around here, but anyway, a few of them have, and we'll see how shiny they are in 7 laps time.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Adam Wyverton's given Stephen Varga a bit of a touch up in the rear quarter and pushed him out and got through there, so that looks like it'll be investigated post-race. It's sent Steve Varga back 3 spots there. He's on the inside of Sean Chappell here in the 420 car, so yeah, pretty tough, hard racing, and I'm sure the boys in race control will have their hands full after this one.
They certainly will, and we can see another car into the wall back there. It's a yellow and green car, and it looks like he's got steering damage and he's slowing. Not sure who that was, but another car bites the dust around here.
Yeah, it definitely does. It looks, just watching, we've got Dane Warren here up the front again, extending that lead. He's up to 4.5, just on 4 seconds now over Matt Stratford, so really good driving. Matt Stratford's actually starting to break Michael Hammond a little bit here, and that gap's starting to extend out. 2 seconds between Matt and Michael at the moment for second and third, and Michael's going to have to be very careful. He's got Brodie Mayers right up behind him, just a half a second behind, and Brodie's having a good little charge here. He's up 2 spots from the opening and putting a bit of a blowtorch on the back of Michael now.
Yeah, he wants to clear him pretty quickly, doesn't he? Because you can see Matt Stratford disappearing up the road, and of course Dane Warren, well, he'll probably meet him maybe at dinner time or once he finishes the race.
Yeah, most likely, and looks like Mick Cracknell's getting a bit of an attack here from Jordan Ross, and I think we saw one of the viewers mention one of the ERT cars that's not out here tonight is that of Ian Ford, so Ian's decided might be a little better just to keep it in the sheds tonight and have a beer and watch these guys go a bit crazy instead.
Yeah, well, I reckon if he is, he's probably chuckling to himself as he downs yet another beer. And we can see Brodie Whitmore back here. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied. Who's that in the Logitech that just went through? I think that was Riley.
Yeah, didn't quite see a car there, but yeah, Brodie's getting real racy up here on the back of Michael Hammond. So Michael's going to have to be careful. Just get those exits or entries slowed up nicely and work on getting the exit and extend that little bit of a gap to save himself getting overtaken through turn 1 and the rest of the next lap.
Yeah, so Riley Blythe there, we just saw him do a great move through the chicane there, and Brodie Whitmore under brakes moves him up to 9th position now, and he's starting to clear out, trying to pair back Michael Talenjak. 2 seconds is the gap to that guy.
Yeah, and looking at the times, last lap by, it was 4/10 in favour of Michael Talenjak, so now that Riley's managed to get his way up past Brodie, I think he'll have a nice little bit of clear road and look for those lap times to start coming down a bit now. Yeah,
well, once he can, if he can get rid of Brodie from the back of him, but Brodie's not letting him go, he might have a chance to start catching up. You can see Craig Jones down here, 15th position. He's trying to catch up to Daniel Trim in 14th, and then ahead of them comes the Melbourne taxi of Jamie McKnight, missing the rear end and just trying to get that car home.
Yeah, sure is. And I'm just having a quick look at some of the incidents we've got with some of the guys that will need to be careful for race 2 and post-race incidences. Daniel Stevens is up on 16 at the moment. Jason Bentz currently has 13 against his name. Colin Burns has 13. We've got another guy who's that. Wayne Pangeli, who's got 15 against him. Paul Chotchi's got 15. So a few guys are right on the limit of starting to get penalties for exceeding that incident limit.
Yeah, so what do you do? Because it sounds like the incidents are going to be reused, I guess, into the second race. Is that right?
I believe so. So I think it'll be similar to iRacing, where it is a disqualification once you exceed the 15th point. But obviously, we go into round 2. That'll all reset, and the guys will get a fresh sheet.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. The guys that have retired, are they allowed to back up into to race 2? I'm assuming they can.
Yeah, definitely. They won't sort of bench them for the next round. Next race they'll be back in. They'll have to do what everyone else has to do and qualify again to get a good spot, and that incident limit will just get reset to 0, and we'll go for it again.
Yeah, so don't go away, folks. There's more action yet to come here on RRTV tonight. 4 laps remaining. David Miller's got a great run here on Sean Chappell, but Sean's he's going to close him out here on the chicane. Tell you what, that was getting a bit iffy there.
It is, but Scotty Stevens just sitting just behind these guys, has a great view of it all. So if there is a little bit of a misbraking opportunity and someone takes someone out, Scotty's going to look to get past these guys pretty quickly.
Yeah, and David just got it a bit crossed up. That's going to allow Scott to be all over the back of him up here under brakes. But we'll see how they go. It looks like Scott's not going to capitalise on that.
No, not yet. It's probably where Dave got it a little sideways there. Is probably one of the better spots on the track to have done that, because you're waiting so long to get on the gas before you power out through the next corner. So hasn't probably affected him as much as we might have thought. But Scotty's pushing very hard on the rear bumper there.
Yeah, and if anyone's ever heard Scotty commentating on RRTV, he's madly packing, and he's going to send it at any point now.
Yeah, definitely. And we got Sean Chappell. He's got a weird line into turn one. It almost looks like that car's on the verge of spinning, but seems to work for him, and he's starting to close that gap back up to Stephen Varga. And David Miller's looks to have recovered that little bit of lost drive that he got earlier on the exit of the second chicane there, and is getting right back up on the back of Sean again.
Yeah, and this last time through is on the outside there. Now he's going to have a look on the inside. Probably not the place to do it. He wants to hang in here, get a great exit off, which he doesn't, and that's going to cost him into the next chicane.
Yeah, well, and I'm just watching a little further up as well. There's a good little battle starting to heat up with Brendan Jackson, Craig Jones, Daniel Trim. I think Jamie McKnight's just holding these guys off for 13th through, who are we, 16th at the moment as well.
Yeah, and if any of the viewers are wondering why we're covering so deep in the field tonight, this is where the action is. If you look at your top 10 at the moment, Dane Warren, he's cleared out at 8.4 seconds, and then there's another 4-second gap from Matt Stratford back to Michael Hammond. Quite a good race though with Brady Mayers. We'll jump up there and have a look, because he's racing Michael Hammond and still trying to get into third position here.
Yeah, and Michael's doing a really good job. He's trying to break Brady behind him, and the longer he can stay in front and maintain that gap, the harder it's going to become for Brady to find a good move to get past, and he may look at doing something a little bit unorthodox to try and get that third spot.
Oh dear, we've got a bit of jerk there on the graphics, folks, but I was going to say, what is unorthodox around here?
Miss the brakes and just go flying through the next chicane.
Okay, that's pretty unorthodox.
Yeah, but no, look, I think the racing has definitely died down a lot more than what we saw in the opening little stint before that first safety car, but I think it's been really good to get the guys all single file. And where do you look for racing besides the top three? Everywhere down is you've got themselves into a nice little battle here.
Yeah, and if anyone loves their rallying, if you had seen Brady there drifting the car into that tight hairpin, he was actually setting it up for a bit of a Scandinavian flick there. That's how much he had it sort of drifting under brakes.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a brake adjustment for the last couple of laps here, but whatever he's doing seems to be working pretty well. He's not letting Michael get away from him, and Michael's probably going to start getting that in the head a little bit, that he can't shake him, and eyes will definitely be a lot more in the mirror.
Yeah, we're up on the last lap here, folks, of race 1 at Zolder, and we can see now Brady under brakes once again coming into the chicane, and I tell you what, that's such a tricky corner, isn't it, when you're so close behind the car in front.
Yeah, it's very easy to overshoot it and just miss the mark. So for the guys to be as close as they are and not touching on each other, that's great racing.
Yeah, we'll jump back up the front here, folks, to watch Dane Warren come through, and tell you what, he has had an awesome race. He's pretty much led it start to finish, cleared out. The gap was 9.3 seconds, and we'll see him now coming across the line for the final time, race 1, and goes to the Rack Corp entry of Dane Warren. Congratulations. Yeah,
great job by Dane. He gave a little bit of a bootful on the exit of the final chicane there, but no, great driving from him. And Matt Stratford home in second spot, and Check Hammonds managed to hold third, and we may have just seen Jordan Ross possibly get fourth. I think he might have come up a touch short, but it was a good little finish for that little top 5 position.
Yeah, it certainly was, and they came across pretty much side by side, didn't they, through there?
Yeah, I think just looking at it, Brady was just in front by the looks, 0.02 of a second, so not much in that at all for the finish.
No, definitely not. We can see them still coming across the line here. David Miller back in 22nd. He did not improve, but I'll tell you what, Stephen Varga in the Tirana livery there, he came home in 20th.
Yeah, great job from Stephen. I think he got caught into a little bit of issues earlier on in the stint, but did fantastically well to hold off that train of 4 behind him.
Yeah, and Jason Bentz looks like he came home. Oh my goodness. Action aplenty here at the finish as all the drivers decide they're going to clout each other. I'm not sure how that goes for incidents. I think, don't you get incidents still after the race is finished?
I don't think it matters too much after the race. I think you can still accrue them, but it shouldn't affect the finishing results if you're already over the line.
Yeah, so we can see all the cars now just parking up and all the drivers jumping out. I tell you what, after that the pit crews are going to be they're going to be a little bit busy.
Sure will be, but no, great racing, and while we've got that one done, I guess we should have a quick rundown of the top 10 and let you know where everyone's finished up.
Yeah, definitely, and let's have a look at our race results. I've just got to find it on these new overlays. So, Dane Warren, he takes the win tonight, followed by Matt Stratford second. Third, Michael Hammond. Fourth, Brady Mayers. He moved 2 positions. Jordan Ross up 3 positions from where he started in 5th. Mick Cracknell finished in 6th. Brian Borg jumped 9 positions and came home in 7th. Michael Tallenjack 8th. 9th, Riley Blythe also jumped 9 positions. Brodie Whitmore finished in 10th. 11th is Thomas Hines, and Brett Loxton rounds out your top 12.
And then we had Jamie Knight in 13th, followed by Craig Jones, Daniel Trim, Brendan Jackson, Wayne Taylor, Henry King, Adam Wyburton, and Sean Varga for the top 20. After that we had Sean Chappell, Dave Miller, Scott Stevens, Jaden Borg, Jeff Gauci, Simon Mazzomo, Matt Lepoidovan, Jason Bentz got himself up to 28, so good recovery for Jason, Jonathan Ben, and Jacob Knight rounding out the top 30.
And if you look at Jason Bentz, he jumped 28 positions, so that's an awesome drive. 31st, David Kinmond, followed by Brenton O'Brien. Then we had Peter Derrick home in 33rd. 34th, Paul Tajavara. Then we have Jake Maloney dropping 25 positions from where he started to come home 35th. 36th was Nathan Tregarthen. Che Potts comes home in 37th. Tony Gaffer 38th. 39th, Luke Page, followed by Daniel Vassell home in 40th. 41st was Mitchell Bales, followed by Shane Rayner. Then we have Troy Allen in 43rd, 44th Colin Bruns, followed by Dean Landy in 45th, 46th Paul Preston. Then we had Thomas McMillan come home in 47th, 48th, and 4 laps down is Mark Fee.
So it wasn't too bad. We had quite a lot of cars after all that opening carnage managed to get themselves through. I think a lot of the boys will be quickly getting set up for the next race, but maybe we should look at bringing up a couple of guys that had pretty good finishing results. Maybe the 2 laser cars in Michael Hammond and Brian Borg.
Yeah, definitely. We'll bring them up and you can start having a chat if you like.
G'day, Michael. Michael and Brian. Welcome to the RRTV commentary box, boys. Great result for yourself there, Michael. 3rd place, mate. Well done.
Hi, fellas. Yeah, it was a pretty good job for the new spots that we got on build tonight. Shades.
Yeah, the cars look really good out there tonight, and congratulations to yourself, Brian. Up 9 spots to 7th, mate. Well done.
Yeah, mate. It was all about getting through that first corner in that one.
Yeah, and just tell us, boys, how did you find that opening stint? We saw a lot of carnage. Michael, I think you avoided the majority of it. Brian, being a bit further back, how bad was it, mate?
Mate, you just had to look where everyone was going and see what happened to Marlon. and it was pretty full on. So yeah, just had to judge it. We all knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, well, we were kind of expecting it. Don't think it was possibly quite as bad as we thought, but definitely pretty touchy. But Michael, you had a pretty good battle there with Brodie Mayers. He pushed you all the way to the end. It was good to see that result for yourself, though.
Yeah, it was pretty good, full-on racing there, and I was happy to keep in front. As you say, I was struggling at the end with a bit of tyre wear on the rear, but other than that, it was a bloody good race with him.
Yeah, mate, it was excellent to watch, and we'll be looking to keep an eye on you guys in race 2, and hopefully we'll also see Jason manage to get a good lap in for the next qualifying session and be up towards the pointy end with yourselves.
Yes, that would be great if you could actually get a decent lap in and not be held up by traffic.
Well, mate, please give us a shout out to your sponsors before we let you go, and get ready for the next race.
We'll let Brian do that.
Just give a shout out to Sades. It's a new sponsor on our car. Yeah, so Laser Racing is still a part of it.
And Stephen Richards Motorsport.
Yes, so yeah, just a big shout out. Thank you for jumping on board, and yeah.
Thanks very much, fellas, for coming in. We look forward to seeing good results for you for the next round, and hope everything goes quite well for you.
No problems, guys, and thanks for putting on a great telecast as usual.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, folks, we've got a few more interviews down there. We'll bring them up while we're waiting for the second server to come up. But stick with us, folks. Race 1's down. We've got another one yet to come. 60 cars around Zolder. You saw what happened race 1. Can they improve on the carnage? We'll find out in race 2.
Yeah, sure will. And hopefully, now that we've seen what happens in race 1 with some of these cars and the size of the grid, hopefully everyone will settle down a little bit more. And maybe one of the unfortunate ones that's sitting down in the green room was Dave Oliver, who we've just got up here. It might be worth finding out how his race fared after those incidents.
Yeah, hi Dave. Welcome to the Combox. How did you end up in that race 1? We saw you were involved in a few incidents there on the start.
Hi guys, how are you? No, I wasn't involved with that turn 1 or turn 2 incident. I bogged down off the start off 4th and got swamped, but made it cleanly through there. And I think it was a handful of laps in, a back marker decided to come out of exit the pits into the middle of the train at speed, and full conquered me off the track. So, which was interesting. So that put me back, and then a few other things and just from people. I got a bit later on in the race. I got a dive bomb from about 5 car lengths back and completely died, pretty much.
Yeah, that's no good. But I tell you what, going into turn 1, what were your thoughts when the green flag dropped?
I gave it too much gas. So pretty much, luckily the big accident was behind me, so not that far behind. It would have only been a few car lengths, but managed to dodge that, which was nicely. And then just made sure I didn't collect a teammate, which is rule number 1. And pretty much after that it was keep on going, and then the safety car came out. So sound like World War III must have happened behind.
Yeah, and we just heard the server has come up, so we're going to have to let you go very shortly to prepare for World War IV. So
we've only got 6 minutes left of qualifying, so it's gone very quick.
Yeah, you might want to let the blokes down in the green room know the server's up, and we're going to get set up for race 2. But before we let you go, Dave, give a shout out to all your sponsors, mate.
Firstly, thanks to SSR for our team, and to all our sponsors. So we've for Newline, for Eaton, and we've got many others, so it's hard to remember them all off the top of my head. But just thanks for you guys doing such an awesome job, and to Nick for running it. So I better go run off and hop in the car. The team's yelling at me.
Yeah, just let the guys in the green room know it's up so they can exit stage left, and we'll chat with them after race 2.
Yeah, no probs. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate. Alright folks, we're going to take a very quick break while we set up here for race 2. Stay with us, go and get a cup of tea, whatever your favourite beverage is, and we'll be back very shortly.
Selby Acoustics is one of Australia's largest online retailers of home theatre and hi-fi accessories. Our website and showrooms in Hallam and Geelong offer over 2,000 quality products and the best prices guaranteed for all your audio and video needs. Our reputation for outstanding customer service and expert advice has been built over years of providing great value and after-sales support. With hundreds of products shipped from our Melbourne warehouse daily, our team understands your passion for all things audio and video.
Welcome back folks, back to Zolder here for race 2 of the Australian Online V8 Supercar Series. You can see them back out there finishing up their practice, and then no doubt they'll be straight into qualifying once again, Daniel.
Yes, I think we may actually be qualifying now, potentially. Just looking at the times that we've got for the top 5, so one of the cars we didn't see out there last time was Forza Nabi. He's actually topped the times 0.2 of a second quicker than Dane Warren on a minute 30.074, with Dane Warren in second currently a minute 30.199. Jordan Ross in third, 130.710, followed by Mullen in fourth in a 130.82, and I think Riley Blythe 130.9. So not too bad for the top half dozen. They're all inside that second, but we're starting to see the same thing again. A lot of cars on track and not a lot of space to get a good lap time in.
Yeah, there was in fact quite a big accident there coming into the start-finish line there. About 3 cars collided right on the line. You can see Brady Mayers in there sitting in 6th. Just having a look at how many cars. We've only got a very disappointing turnout of only 58 cars here tonight, so it's going to be an interesting race too.
Yeah, I love how a disappointing result is 58 cars on track, but no, look, it's good to have so many guys back up after the incidents of the first race that some of them had, but we've got 47 drivers that have actually set a time, and about 4.5 seconds this time spreading those 47, which is a little quicker than what we saw in the first race.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how Forzen goes. He's sitting up there on provisional pole, and let's see if he can take the race to Dane. I reckon it's going to be on between these two. Jordan Ross also. We'll see how he goes coming out of 3rd tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a good run from Forzen. He's normally pretty quick in these cars. And I'm not sure whether he may have just been a little late to joining up in the first race and missed that as a result, but I think, like I say, we will see a pretty tight race between Forzen and Dane, and I think 3rd through 6th is going to be a battle for the last spot on the grid, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely, and I know some people did miss out because the server was full, and that might have been Forzen, so hopefully now they've all got back in, but I know a few of the people in the chat room said they couldn't get in because the room was full.
Yeah, and I think going from that, it looks like, obviously our 3rd place finisher in the last event, Michael Hammond, didn't manage to set a lap time, so he's going to start all the way down there in, 54th spot. So, yeah, it's pretty quick turnaround of how you can go from being right up at the pointy end to right down the back if you're unable to get that lap time.
Definitely. Now, are you ready to call it all again through the grid?
Yeah, let's have another crack.
Okay, let's have a look. Forzen El Nabi, he's going to start from a pole position tonight, followed by Dane Warren in 2nd, Jordan Ross 3rd, Matt Stratford out of 4th, Marlon McMullen, he'll start out of 5th. Out of 6th, we have Riley Blythe. Starting out of 7th tonight, Brady Mayers, followed by Thomas Hinz. Mick Cracknell will start out of 9th, with Henry King in 10th. Michael Tallenjack out of 11th, rounding out your top 12 is Brian Borg.
And in 13th we have Brett Laxton, followed by Thomas McMullen in 14th. Luke Page is 15th, Daniel Trim 16th, Jason Bentz has got himself up to 17th. Brody Whitmore is in 19th, David Kidman is 19th, Brennan Jackson in 20th, Jaden Borg in 21st, Jeff Gatsey in 22nd, 23rd is Wayne Taylor, 24th is Dave Oliver. Dave Miller is 25th, Nathan Tregarthen in 26th, Paul Preston is 27th, followed by Adam Wyburton, Sean Chappell and Craig Jones rounding out the top 30.
Out of 31st will be Jamie McKnight, followed by Paul Tajavara. Simon Mazzomo will start in 33rd with Stephen Varga in 34th. 35th tonight, Jonathan Ben, and 36th is Scott Stevens. Matt Lepodovin will start out of 37th with Mitchell Bales out of 38th. 39th, Brendan O'Brien, Daryl Hockey in 40th. 41st, Nick Hausler. 42nd is Tony Gaffer.
In 43rd we have Peter Derrick, followed by Jai Potts, Matt Torkins in 45th, Troy Allen in 46th, Daniel Stevens in 47th, Colin Bruins in 48th, Daniel Vansel in 49th, with Dean Landy in 50th. Christopher Casey is 51st, Mark Fee is in 52nd, and the guys who haven't set a lap time for this one are Jake Maloney, Michael Hammond, Shane Rayner, Paul Chochi, Jacob Knight and Daniel Smith rounding out the 58.
Well done. Right on time for the start of this race, folks. We're under starters orders here. Revs will be rising, and we're away for race 2 at Zolder. And here we go again, Daniel. Turn 1. Hold your breath.
Yeah, it's pretty wide back there. I'm expecting a little bit of carnage.
Yeah, we can see him coming in 4 wide into turn 2, and Dane Warren getting it all crossed up and getting swamped by a number of cars. Now he's around and it's on.
Yeah, and I saw Henry King in the Zuba entry getting a little wide through turn 1 there as well, but Dane Warren, pretty unfortunate for him to be in the fence on the end of the start of lap 1.
Yeah, he got it all crossed up coming out of turn, I think it was turn 2 there, and we've got another car into the wall here, 4 wide into the chicane, just does not go, as we see dodging cars back here once again, claiming a number of cars.
Yeah, and I've just seen Riley Blythe's got a lot of damage on his car. Mark Fee has a lot of damage, and Riley Blythe shortcut the chicane through the first chicane there. Paul Preston's got a whole lot of damage. There's a Synergy Sim car going very slowly, so not as good a start as what we would expect, and no safety car yet, which is a big plus.
Yeah, and we're having a look at Scotty Stevens. He's got the whole bonnet missing on his car, but he'll be pushing forwards. Also, one of the Logitech cars have the whole left-hand guard hanging off. But, you know, it's been a bit of a mess for Dane, but that big accident didn't happen this time.
Well, I think we might have missed it. It looks like it's claimed a few cars at the back. I've got Troy Allen in the wall just before Peter Derrick was in there. Sean Varga was in there by the looks as well. So half a dozen cars on the exit of the second chicane having some big issues.
Yeah, we just saw in the final chicane there a lot of contact, about 6 cars. Scott Stevens was one involved. There's more contact going on back here, and there won't be a lot of cars finishing from the back here tonight.
No, and the usual thing, the guys in the V8s are all racing for sheep stations, so been a few of them swapped and a few injuries, but look, we haven't had a safety car, which is a good plus. Hopefully the racing will just settle down a little more, and these guys will get back into the rhythm now.
Yeah, so your top 10 at the moment, folks. Forzan El Nabi, he's streaking away with a gap of 1.3 seconds back to Matt Stratford. Jordan Ross is sitting in 3rd, Marlon McMullen 4th, 5th, Brady Mayers, Thomas Hinds in 6th, 7th, Michael Talenjak 8th, Thomas McMillan 9th, Brian Borg, and rounding out your top 10 is Mick Cracknell.
Yeah, and Forzan's doing a great job here. He's starting to get a good little bit of a lead up over second place there in Matt Stratford, and Matt's got his mirrors full of Jordan Ross in this one now.
Yeah, 2 wide here, Mick Cracknell on the outside of Brian Borg, and he's still hanging out there. Good driving by these two. They haven't rubbed wheels, and they go side by side back into turn 1, and there's contact ahead of them, but at the moment it looks like Michael made that move.
Yeah, good little pass there, and Mick's done a good job. He's just up on the outside of one of the Logitech cars there. I'm just trying to work out who that was. Looks like Mick's got a big hit in the rear through turn 2 and collected one of the Chiani cars there on the exit.
Yeah, he actually got tagged coming into turn 2 there, and turned around in front, but we've got another car limping further down, looks like with a blown motor. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure who that car was. I can't just jump back quick enough, but just looking up front again, Forzan's doing exactly what Dane did in the first lap, or first race here, sorry, and 2.3 second lead as they got over the line to start the second lap. Jordan Ross is back here, 3.1 seconds off the lead. Marlon in 4th, 3.8 back, and Brady Mayers is 4.3 seconds off. So Forzan's doing a good job. Missed the first race, but really starting to make a march to extend that gap. Yeah, and that was, I had the name on my, Brendan Jackson was the one that blew the motor. We're under yellow once again, folks. It's just so they can clean up some of the debris out there, and no doubt there's going to be a lot of souvenirs being sold after this one once again. Oh, no doubt, and obviously the guys will have racks of gear following some of the issues in the first race, but I think this will be good. It'll settle everyone up. We'll get back into a nice single line. You may see a lot of the guys lower down the field that have had issues. We'll take that fast repair, get back on track, and hopefully we'll start making their way back up towards the pointy end.
Yeah, we're coming back to this incident with Mick Cracknell. This sort of was what started a fair bit of carnage. We can see, just trying to get a number of the car that's on the inside there, having a look, and just tags him in the rear quarter, which of course spins him around, and then the guys behind him have absolutely nowhere to go, really.
No, and I'm surprised we didn't see as many cars involved in that one later on after everyone had sort of come to a bit of a stop. But it looks like was that possibly Brian Borg in the back of Mick Cracknell there, I think. So obviously we had saw good results from Brian, and he's sitting just outside or just inside the top 10, but not what he would have wanted coming through the early part of this race.
Yeah, and that was Brendan Jackson in the Kiani entry that collided with Mick Cracknell on the outside, sent him straight into the wall, it's blowing Brendan's motor, and I'm not sure if he even got back to the pits.
No, and I think if he has killed that engine, he will take a tow, and that's going to be at least 2.5 minutes before he's able to rejoin, and if he hadn't lost a lap, he definitely will once that's done.
Yeah, we can see him now. He's just coming back out, so I don't think he got a tow. He must have limped it back, but he's had that car repaired, and he's trying to join the back of the field here. He'll start in 51st position, and he's dropped 23 positions.
Yeah, it's a long way back, isn't it? And I'm just looking at a couple of the cars we've got much further back here, and Dane Warren started second. He's still in pits, I believe, at the moment, and has fallen 52 spots. Mick Cracknell, we saw him have his issue. He's dropped 46 spots. Matt Torkins has dropped 11. Brett Loxton is down 44 spots. So quite a few cars that were hoping to be a lot further up have had the trouble and find themselves right at the very back.
Yeah, and we're just going to jump back and see if we can see that incident that occurred for Dane Warren on the second corner, and let's see if I can actually find it. I'm not sure if we can. Okay, I think I've got it, folks, so let's jump back to the start here and have a look at what happened to Dane. It pretty much all started coming out of turn 2, didn't it, Daniel?
Yeah, so Dane got himself a really good jump, got up on the outside of Forzan there, and as you see him get into turn 2, it looks like we've got Matt Stratford ducking up the inside to make the pass, and as Dane's come back down, they've sort of hip and shouldered each other, and Dane sort of copped the worst of all that, and which has put him in the fence and dropped him so far down this pack now.
Yeah, and he sort of corrected it up, didn't he? But by then, he had lost all momentum. The PRA car, great job there of missing him, but he does get tagged again. I'm just trying to get the number. I think that might be the PRA car that sends him around here. It does. He nerfs him, and then he goes into the 67, and both of them spin, but Dane comes straight across. And I tell you what, Mick Cracknell did an awesome job in missing him.
He did, but that also explains too why Riley Blythe, we saw him spinning in the opening there, so he's managed to avoid the initial hit with Dane, and when Dane's got hit the second time by Brodie Mayers, that hit's forced Dane up into the back of Riley Blythe, and then Riley's had to spin and leave it on the outside of the road.
Yeah, but I tell you what, looking at the avoidance of some of these drivers tonight, they did an awesome job and avoiding that carnage. It could have been a hell of a lot worse, but safety car lights are out here at Zolder, 10 laps remaining, and Forzan El Nabi, he will lead them away. So folks, I hope you're enjoying coverage of the Australian Online Supercar Championship coming to you from Zolder. Your commentary team tonight is Bernie Wiemers and Daniel Leet, and so far we have been kept mighty busy.
Yeah, I think we've definitely earned the post-race beer for getting through this one, but look, it's fantastic to see the response that the organisers are getting with the amount of drivers that are turning up to these events. 60 plus for a sprint race is a lot more than what we saw last season, where these weren't a broadcast race. So fantastic job by Nick and the boys that run the Australian Sports Car Series. And look, I think it's just going from strength to strength, this one.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a fantastic series. This is, I think, the second or third season we've covered, but this season it's definitely proved very popular once again, and it's just fantastic to see the turnout in once again in this round. Of course, next week we have back to an endurance race, a 650k race, so there'll be less cars because a lot of these guys will start partnering up for that enduro.
Yeah, sure. Well, and I think I know a lot of the guys in our team have already paired up for the race. I think we're going to have potentially 4 to 5 cars still fielded for the next enduro, but no, it's going to be great. I think we'll see also a few regulars like Ian Ford and that come back. Obviously, Ian's not here for this round, but I'm sure he's watching and eager to get back in the car for the next enduro.
Yeah, I reckon he would be. He'd be probably missing being out there tonight, but the safety car will be in very shortly, folks. 10 laps. We'll have 9 when they cross. See now, Forza Al Nabi, he will lead the field in, and he backed them up a little bit. Now he's starting to get a little bit of a gap between them. How much racecraft goes into these restarts if you're leading the field?
Look, if you're leading, Forza's going to be careful that he doesn't get past the safety car, otherwise he's going to be penalised. But he can pretty much just play it nice and steady, back the field up, and when he's ready, like he's done now, drop the hammer and get going.
So here we go once again, folks. Look at them diving through. Their 9 laps to go. If they're going to get a good position, they're going to have to go quick around here and make these moves stick. We can see Henry King at the moment 12th, and looks like a nice clean start.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. Thomas McMillan was a little loose on the exit of turn 1 and has managed to keep it off the wall, but just filing back through everyone further down and 3 wide at a couple of spots through turn 1 and 2, and doesn't look like any major incidents. So much more controlled start from the fellas here.
And we can see 1 car off on the inside. I don't have a number, and Michael Hammond, he's all the way down in 20th at the moment, but up front, Forza Al Nabi leads, Matt Stratford Mullen 3rd, then Jordan Ross is sitting in 4th.
Yeah, so it's a good start from our opening, our leading 5 cars. They've done excellent to sort of hold position and not have any major incidents, and it looks like the guys further down have also done suit. So much better than what we saw even in the restart on race 1, but look, now we got to knuckle down. We've got 8 laps to go to the finish, and I'm sure the guys are going to get the elbows out pretty soon.
Oh yeah, if they're not out already. We can see further back one of the cars that are missing a rear wing. Just trying to get back to find out who they are. It's Craig Jones has lost the boot on that car as one of the next level racing cars slides in front and checks them up, but no contact.
No contact there, and I think Craig's actually running another new paint for the car. The boys did a bit of touch-up work on that during the week, and look, great racing back here as there's one, I can't make out the number, but there's a car going off in towards the dirt on turn 1 as well. Yeah,
that was Adam Wyburn. We're actually live with him when that happened, and he got hit pretty hard coming into turn 1 there.
Yeah, he's done well to get back up. I don't think he's got any major damage as a result of that one, other than a few spots. But look, good recovery, even all things considered. But he's got a lot of miracle with Paul Tajvar at the moment, who's trying to go around the long way in towards the chicane there. Good move from Paul.
Yeah, so that was Craig Jones that got on the side of Adam there. So that's Craig's car's now missing a right front fender as well, so before long that's going to be an open wheeler.
It will be, but Craig's got to be careful. He's got Michael Hammond, who was our 3rd place finisher in race 1, breathing hard on his neck, and Michael, he's come back 36 spots since this race started, so while he's not right up the front, 36 is a great recovery drive for Michael.
Yeah, that's a huge drive, isn't it? And 8 laps remaining. How far do you reckon he's going to be able to get in these remaining laps. He's got Craig Jones just ahead of him.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him maybe up around 13th, 14th by the time this comes to a conclusion, but we saw earlier on it's not the easiest place to pass around here. A lot of the lines are single car width wide. Michael did a great job in the opening race holding off 4th place, so it's going to be a pretty tall ask for him to maybe jump up much further than where he is now.
Yeah, because of course the further up you get, the harder it gets, and Craig Jones getting it a little bit squirrely there. That's opened him up. We've got Michael on the outside coming into the chicane. What's he going to do here? He's trying an undercut. Didn't work. Craig's squirrely. You can see in the mirror there one of the redback boys. That's David Miller right behind him.
Yeah, and Craig had to be very careful that he didn't get up on the inside of his teammate Jaden Borg there. So Mick was pretty opportunistic watching Craig get on the dirt there. It gave him a really good run and just didn't quite have the distance down the straight to get past, but he's banging on the back of the car, letting him know he's there and wants to make his way past pretty quickly.
Yeah, he got a good run, didn't he? But he had nowhere to go when he came up on the outside of that chicane, really.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we saw a couple of spots in the last race, especially with, I think it was David Miller and Scotty Stevens. David managed to light up the tyres on the exit of the second chicane, but where it was and where you are in the throttle, it meant that Scott couldn't get past it. It's similar to what we saw there with Mick Hammond. Just couldn't get the power down to get past into the second chicane.
Yeah, and we're having a look up the front here now. The battle's on between Matt Stratford, Jordan Ross for second and third. Just ahead of him is Marlon McMullen. Trying to work out what happened to Forzan here.
Yeah, I haven't seen what's happened to Forzan. I'm just watching a little battle back here in 10th and 11th with Thomas McMillan and Daniel Trim. That's a good little scrap going on. And I think Henry King in 8th and 9th with Jason Bentz is also another good one.
Okay, so I'm just having a look to go back to see if we can find out what's happened to Forzan. But at the moment, I haven't found any off track, so it may have been some sort of hardware failure.
Yeah, it looks like Forzan's actually dropped out, so I think his internet has probably dealt him the cruel hand and dropped the connection to the server.
Man, that's so nasty. He only got in for race 2, qualified on pole position, was leading the race. To have that happen, he'll be a little bit upset, I think.
Yeah, he won't be the happiest of drivers, I'd imagine. I mean, he did a great job to put it up on pole, having missed the first race. But look, unfortunately, these things happen, and he may be able to get back in for a few laps at the end. But I think now Mullen will be licking the lips. He'll be wanting to push on as hard as he can and secure this first position.
Yeah, well, he's got a lead of half a second at the moment over Matt Stratford there, and looking fairly comfortable with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, and looking at Jordan, who's currently in third, so Jordan Ross there, he's got a nice little gap over Brady Mayers in fourth, who's got Thomas Hinds just slowly starting to creep up on the back in fifth spot. But these chicanes give you a really good idea of that accordion effect as the guys get in the brakes and then accelerate out on the exit there.
Yeah, it shows that compression under brakes, and then it stretches out like that elastic band, and we just don't want it to snap. But at the moment, Brady's doing a great job in fourth. Just looking further down for those who are fans of Michael Hammond, he's sitting in 16th. He's still got Craig Jones ahead of him, and he hasn't been able to get past him as yet.
No, and just looking at the guys in their team, Brian Borg's doing really good up in sixth spot, has a nice little gap over Michael Talenjak, and Jason Bentz in 8th is having a good little battle here with Henry King for 9th. So we didn't see Jason up towards the pointy end in the first race after not being able to settle lap time, but similar to what we've seen in some of the other races this season, he's got good consistency and good racecraft, and sitting nice inside that top 10.
Yeah, he's doing a good job out there, and he's definitely looking at making amends from race 1. And those of you that missed the qualifying, Jason, as Daniel said, was very unlucky. He was on a hot lap, but he got balked with seconds to go and had to park it starting from, I think, 53rd, I think you said, Daniel.
Yeah, and I just see, looks like we've had a little update from Forzan in the chat saying, looks like his computer's crashed, so that was the issue that Forzan's had and cut his night short.
Yeah, it's a real shame because, as I said, coming in race 2, qualified, pole position, was leading quite comfortably until then, but, he'll be back, I'm sure, next week and looking to get a better result.
Yeah, he sure will. And just watching Henry King here working up on the back of Jason Benson. Henry got a great run through that second chicane there and is really starting to apply the pressure as he sticks the nose out on the inside. But just behind that, Henry's going to have to be pretty careful. He's got Daniel Trim firing up pretty tight in the hairpin and Thomas McMillan not wanting to let these guys go in front. So if the pressure gets a fair bit from Daniel, I think we might see Jason starting to extend that gap, and that'll put all the effort into Henry King to try and either break the guys behind him or push up further onto Jason.
Yeah, well, both Henry and Jason are looking at having a better result. Of course, we saw Henry in that 3-wide action in race 1. And he was in the wars, so he's definitely looking at making amends. Tonight, that car, folks, is they're in the traditional Zuva paint scheme. A little bit about Henry, he likes his paint jobs. I think this is the 5th type of paint job this team's sported in this series.
Yeah, they're a nicely turned out car. I mean, every race we've seen so far, the Zuva car, it stands out. It's doing a great job for promoting that sponsor there, but I mean, the day and age now for the liveries that the guys are putting up, the professionalism of the car is phenomenal. I mean, even Jason's car just up in front, new livery, looks amazing, completely different to what they've run earlier in the season with the laser car, and it's very easy to see and make it out on the camera.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? And we can just see there Wayne Taylor. I think it was Wayne, it might have been Thomas. No, it was, Thomas was making a move on Daniel there under brakes, but settled in. But this is a battle pack of 4 at the moment. But if we look up front, it's on because Marlon McMullen is still leading. The gap still 0.6 of a second back to Matt Stratford, and then Jordan Ross 1.1 seconds down.
Yeah, no, Marlon's doing a fantastic job, just holding that gap just a touch over half a second. But Jordan Ross has really started to make some inroads on Matt Stratford ahead, and I would expect that these two will be battling here towards the end of this lap for second spot.
Yeah, we're down to 2 laps remaining here, so we're getting to the business end of this race, and I tell you what, these 60-60 races, they go in the blink of the eye, don't they?
Oh, they sure do, and I mean, it's good for us. It keeps us really busy through these races, and there's racing aplenty. And it's getting really tight as there's a touch here with Jordan Ross and Matt Stratford on in the middle of chicane number 2.
Yeah, I thought they were both going to go off there, but Jordan backed out of it and allowed them both to recover. And fortunately, they got quite a bit of a gap back to Brady Mayers and Thomas Hinds.
Yeah, but in doing that, that's actually going to help Marlon out here now. Look to push that gap out, because that bit of contact between Jordan and Matt did slow them down a fair bit through the second, or so through the middle of that chicane there.
It looks like Marlon's sporting the Craig Lowndes livery tonight.
Yeah, it's a sharp-looking car. I'm not quite sure who's put that livery together for him, but it does look good out there, doesn't it?
Certainly does, and we're talking about the pro paint jobs, folks. Those new to iRacing, a lot of these guys now are paying painters or graphics designers to design all these, and I tell you what, they do a great job.
Yeah, and for anyone who's had a crack at trying to put one of these liveries together, the pains of doing it. They're certainly not easy. I've done a handful for our boys, and you can easily lose 1 to 2 days in trying to make them look quite nice.
Certainly can, that's for sure. And I can waste 1 or 2 days and it still doesn't look nice, but we're down to the last lap, folks. We can see at the moment Henry King still holding off Daniel Trim, but let's get up to the front because it's all Marlon McMullen at the moment. That gap, 1.6 seconds back to Matt Stratford, then Jordan Ross is second and third, and they've got quite a bit of a gap, so I think this is the way they're going to finish tonight.
Yeah, and Brody Mayers is he's just copped a hit from Thomas Hinz in the door, and I think Thomas will try and redress that, but that's actually going to help Brian Borg move up, and we might see Brian actually get up into fourth as Thomas is redressing that issue.
And as we look up the front here, Marlon McMullen takes the win in race 2 here at Zolder, followed by Matt Stratton for Jordan Ross. Brian Borg was the big winner there with that contact. He comes home in 6th. 7th, Michael Talenjak. 8th, Jason Bentz. 9th, Henry King.
Yeah, so a great result for the boys in the top 10 there. And just to go a little further down, so we got Thomas McMullen in 11th, Wayne Taylor 12th, Daniel Kidman in 13th, followed by Michael Hammond, Jaden Borg, David Miller, Paul Tajvara, Craig Jones, Riley Blythe, who had a great recovery after that issue in the opening lap, and Brett O'Brien in 20th.
Yeah, so we're looking down at 32nd at the moment as we see Nathan Tregarthen coming across the line, and they still continue here. Mark Fee, he'll come home in 37th position, and they're still coming through. Brett Loxton, 1 lap down in 43rd. He actually dropped 31 positions in race 2.
Yeah, I'm just seeing, looks like we've got Brendan Jackson coming across the line in 43rd. Where did he go? He lost, where was it, close to 30 spots after that opening incident where he got caught with one of the Logitech cars.
Yeah, and once you get involved in those, there's no really real way of recovering, is it? Because you only got 15 laps around here. We lost probably 3 under safety car, which left them with a 9-lap sprint to the end.
Yeah, definitely. So, look, at the end of the day, we had, I think it was 43 cars get across the line to finish that one. We lost potentially 7, actually, no, what is it, 10 to 11 cars out of that race.
Yeah, so quite a lot of casualties in race 2. But we can see there the Zuva entry having some fun, but it's all Marlon McMullen tonight for race 2 as he celebrates on the start-finish line here at Zolder.
Yeah, it's good to see Marlon get a win, especially after those issues that he had in race 1, where we saw him out in the weeds through turn 1. But no, look, fantastic job, and that little bit of contact between Matt and Jordan was enough to help Marlon get through without too much pressure.
And I tell you what, the V8 Supercar guys, I reckon they've all gone to the SVG school of drifting. They've all got this down pat, and they're pretty much doing Mr. Van Gisbergen proud tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the V8 is one of the easiest cars to control in a burnout. Just grab the anchors on the brakes and let her rip. So, look, Marlon's going to enjoy this lap, and so we should.
Oh, definitely a lot to celebrate there. Great drive for Marlon McMullen. But we should go through the full results here, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver did or did not finish tonight. So, tonight's win goes to Marlon McMullen. He jumped 4 positions to take that win. Matt Stratford comes home in 2nd. Jordan Ross holds on to 3rd with Brian Borg in 4th. Brady Mayers comes home in 5th. Thomas Hinz 6th. 7th, Michael Talenjak. 8th, Jason Bentz jumped 9 positions. Then we had Henry King come home in 9th, Daniel Trim 10th, 11th, Thomas McMillan and Wayne Taylor. That rounds out your top 12.
We had David Kidman in 13th, followed by Michael Hammond, Jaden Borg in 15th, David Miller in 16th, Paul Tajvara for 17th, with Craig Jones and Riley Blythe coming in 18th and 19th respectively. Brett O'Brien was 20th, followed by Jonathan Ben, Jake Maloney, Adam Wyburton, Stephen Varga, Jacob Knight, Paul Preston, Tony Gaffer, Daryl Hockey, Colin Burns, and Paul Ciocci rounding out 30.
31st was Sean Chappell, followed by Nathan Tregarthen. 33rd Daniel Vassell, and 34th was Nick Hausler. Jay Potts comes home in 35th, with Jamie McKnight coming home in 36th. 37th Mark Fee, followed by Luke Page. Then we had Dean Landy home in 39th, with Simon Masomo in 40th. 41st Brendan Jackson, followed by Brodie Whitmore. Dave Oliver, he comes home in 43rd tonight, dropping 19 positions. Brett Loxton dropped 31 positions in 44th. Mitchell Bales in 45th. 46th Matt Torkins. Then 47th Scott Stevens. Rounding out your 48 is Daniel Stevens.
And it looks like the first of our retirements will be Forzan Elnabi, who we saw with PC issues earlier on. Matt Lepoitovan in 50th. Peter Decker, Troy Allen, Daniel Smith, Jeff Gaethje, Christopher Casey, Michael Cracknell, Dane Warren, and Shane Rayner wound out our 58. So we had 9 cars with issues that ended up parking it, and a couple there at least a lap down.
Yeah, and the biggest mover and shaker of that race, folks, is pretty close, but Michael Hammond started in 55th position, gained 40 positions, and came home in 15th. So a great drive there by Michael.
Yeah, it certainly was, and look, he kept his nose clean through that race. He probably not where he wanted to be after the third spot that he got in race 1, but to come through 40 in 15 laps, that's a great result for him.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's an awesome result and great driving, but it looks like we might bring up a couple of the RRT boys. We've got Stephen Varga down there. We'll see if they want to come up for a chat. So Daniel, next week, the first of our endurance races. So it's going to be a change in tempo for a lot of the drivers. We've had the 150 last week, the 60-60 this week, and then straight into the enduro next week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously a lot of these guys now know how to get the cars around for the long races. Hopefully we'll see a little bit cleaner driving in the opening laps. Obviously 160 Ks is a pretty long way to go, but I think everyone now that they go from the sprint round where it's elbows and arms all the way out to getting into your enduro, you've got to really step it back a few notches and work on the long game.
Yeah, that's it, and that's what makes this series quite interesting, isn't it? Because we pretty much mix it up. You know, they focus on the short game, then the short game, and then all of a sudden the teams have to back it up next week to go for a 650 enduro all of a sudden, and that whole tempo, the way they set the car up, they've got a co-driver, all that starts to come into play.
Well, it sure will, and I mean, we go from a relatively flat circuit. Obviously, got a few little undulations and some pretty hard stops here at Zolder. I think the next race we go to is Imola, so it's a much bigger track. It's a lot more flowing corners. You've still got a few hard spots where you've got to be pretty precise with your suspension set up and getting over the chicanes, but track space is a lot wider. The guys are going to be able to run 2 and 3 cars wide in a lot of sections without too much worry, and I think it'll be a lot more enjoyable race to watch them getting around the likes of Imola than possibly what we saw tonight. But let's focus on tonight. I mean, the guys have done fantastically well to put through what they've done tonight.
Oh, it's been absolutely brilliant, hasn't it? And action-packed. I hope all of you has enjoyed it as much as we did calling it. But before we go, though, we've got a few interviews here. We're going to bring up Stephen Varga and I don't know who he is. He's Mad Dog. So I'm sure I'll know him. I should know him from Redback Racing Team. And we'll have a chat with them. Then we've got Thomas Hinz coming up for a chat, as well as Brian Borg. Hi, Stephen and Mad Dog from Redback Racing Team. Welcome to the Combox. How'd the race go for you guys?
You go first, Mad Dog.
Yeah, it went alright.
I had fun in that second race.
Awesome, you're a man of many words.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like me racing.
Fair enough. So, comparing last race to the first race, how was it? I know race 1 there was a lot of carnage. What did you think of race 2?
I thought race 1 was better in my opinion. Certainly because I finished in front of Mad Dog. But then I qualified better. I actually got time to qualify, and the second time I got it held up a bit, which couldn't do much about that. But people are tending to go into the quali lap and think, oh, I'll give the car in front some room, but you don't have the time. There's just not the time to do that. So, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, well, with 60 cars out there, it'd be next to impossible to try and get a good run, that's for sure. And we saw race 1, Jason Bentz got balked and he started in 53rd, so it's pretty easy to do. I see you got home tonight in 24th, Stephen. Where'd you finish in race 1?
I think I was 20th in race 1, and I was going to get the same in race 2, but I gave it a bit too much coming out of the turn 3 chicane, and yeah, looped it up and luckily didn't hit the wall, but just lost 4 spots there, so it wasn't too bad.
And David Miller came home in 16th. I'm assuming you're David, Mad Dog.
Yes.
There you go. So it looks like you had a better run in race 2 than you did in race 1?
Yeah, no, a lot better run. Got caught up in a little bit of traffic out on the first race, but yeah, race 2 turned out a lot better for me.
Awesome. And we noticed, I think it was you, Stephen, running the retro livery tonight, the Tirana livery by the looks of it.
Yeah, I tend to run that the past few races actually. Just a bit of a change. Nobody seemed to say anything to me, so I'm just going to run that until somebody says something, I think.
Yeah, keep on running it. It looks good. I like it.
Thank you.
Tell them, if anyone says anything, tell them Bernie said you can run it, and they'll all just laugh and say, who the hell is he anyway?
I think Mark Samuels did the paint job. Quite a good job.
Yeah, it looks really good. I'm going to hand you over to Daniel Leet here, and he might have a few more questions for you, and then we'll go and have a chat with the other guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, g'day fellas. Look, probably only 2 major questions from me. We know this track's pretty tight with the 3 chicanes we've got here tonight. How'd you find, as far as car setup was concerned, where you needed to be, or any changes you may have wanted to do to get a little bit better in and exit out through those chicanes?
I don't know, I reckon maybe coming out of turn 2, needed the arse end of the car to sort of stick a bit better. Sort of like had to feather the throttle a lot more around there. But the windy section of the track, my car was feeling good.
Yeah, I liked it. It's more positioning of the brakes and the tyre pressures, but the tyre pressures were fine, so I just had to get the brakes right for the second race, but no, it felt good, I thought.
I guess that probably leads into the next question. Obviously, brakes are as key as what they'd be suspension-wise, and did you find in some of the slow areas like the hairpin that you had a lot of issues getting in there where it was 2 and 3 wide, or generally went through pretty easy?
Tried not to go through there 2 and 3 wide. I'd just fall back behind the car behind me and try and play it a bit safer.
Yeah, I was doing the same. I did try to dive it up there a couple of times. Car felt good, but then just having awareness of the other driver beside you, it was a bit hard to try to get the power down and give him room as well, so I sort of backed out as well.
And obviously now everyone's going to have a reset. We're going to go to Imola for the next Enduro. Are we likely to see you guys paired up together for that event?
Yeah, we're always paired up. Me and Vargs, that's our team.
Been racing together for a few years. Racing with each other for a few years and pretty much know each other's driving style. Mad Dogs have somehow gotten a little bit faster over the years, but we're both pretty much the same pace.
Well, look, thank you very much for coming up. Obviously, great racing tonight from both of you. Give us a shout out to your sponsors before we let you head off and have a bit of a team debrief.
Also, thanks to Redback Racing and Mad Dog.
And yeah, thanks to Secure Safe Storage.
Fantastic, guys. Well, thanks for popping up, and we look forward to seeing you next race. And so 1 week to go.
Having us.
Yep, look forward to it. Thanks, Bernie. Thanks, Daniel.
Fantastic. That was David Miller, Stephen Varga from Redback Racing Team. Next, Daniel, we've got Thomas Hines to come up. So I'll bring him up. And did you want to have a chat with him?
Yeah, mate. Why not? Let's have a go. G'day, Thomas. Welcome to the RRTV commentary box. Great results for you this round, mate. We see 7th in race 1, and I think it was a 6th in race 2. So well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was good to get a bit back in the top 10 a bit, because I think the last time I was kind of hanging just outside or just in, so it was good to be a little bit further up there, actually in the mix to the top 10, where I sort of was ending up towards the end of last season. So it was good fun. It was hectic as I kind of expected it to be, so I wasn't too surprised. It was a little bit messy, but race 1, went alright. Had a little bit of a knock with Dave though, and that's what dropped me back there. I was looking on for probably 7th or 8th, but the first of the restart, we had a little bit of a bump, and off I went, dropped about probably 3 or 4 spots. Not too bad, but just enough to lose that time. So I ended up being P11 there. Had a good battle with Brody at the end, who defended defended very, very hard. It was good fun, very good fun. It was defended very hard. It worked in the end. He held on to 10th, so credit to him. Good job to Brody to get that 10th. Shout out there. But good fun in the end. Got 11th, which, considering it was a bit messy, I was happy with that. Then race 2, got the lap in at the end of the quali there to line up 8th, and had a clean start. It was generally just good fun. I mean, apart from obviously lap 1 there was a bit of to do there with Dane and a few others there. I just avoided getting clouted by Dane there as he spun with Riley, so that was lucky. But after that, it was just a good fun battle with Brady and co. Shout out to those guys. Always a lot of fun to battle with them. Brian, Brady, all those guys. I had to go at, obviously I don't know if the broadcast caught up there, but I had to go at Brady into the hairpin there, and we came together. And I mean, it was pretty much a racing incident, really. I mean, looking back at it, it was probably neither our fault. We just one of those things. But at the time, I felt like I may have given him a bit of a shove and a bit of a punt and run, so I ended up pulling aside and letting him have it again. So dropped from 4th to 6th, but Brian was happy because he snagged a 4th from that. But still happy with the 6th. It's good points. It's the main thing there. So and as I said, we had a great battle, me and Brady there in the last few laps. So it's good points, which is all I'm really after. And it's having these results at a track that I'm enjoying as well. I do quite like Zolder, and I want to race it more, to be honest. If anything, it's just a bonus.
Yeah, well, we did manage to pick up that little incident with Freddie Mayers, so we kind of thought there may have been a bit of a redress, and I'm sure, as you said, Brian would have been licking the lips as he went through and jumped a couple of spots. But no, look, it was great racing from what we saw. Obviously, as you mentioned, pretty close with Dane when he had his bit of a spin there. So great awareness to sort of avoid that, and overall car seemed to hold through pretty well. No major issues as far as tyres or anything like that was concerned.
Tyres were good. The crash was very lucky, as I said, as you say there, just happened to stick right at the right time. I think I saw them being close, and I was kind of aware something might happen, and then I saw Brady and Dane come together. I could see him and sort of hear the tyres somewhere to my left going, and I was like, oh boy, I think they're wrecking. So I just went as quick as I could to get out of there. It's like, oh god, they're going to come across. So I just tried to get out, and thankfully just didn't. I saw them obviously come across and just absolute carnage. So I was very lucky there. Tyres were good. I actually bumped the pressures up from what we had, because a bit of a cooler track. They were fantastic. The set I had as well. Big shout out to the team. I think it was Matt that did the hard yards with the setup. It was an awesome set. Really, really comfortable. Really quick as well. It was awesome set. Actually, no, sorry, I should say it was to Brennan. Sorry, Brennan, he had the VR set, but just a few tweaks to it, and it was really good, really, really, really good stuff. So cars felt fantastic, tyres are really good, and I'm just happy to get some good results out of this one, because going in, with how many cars it was in the end, 58 cars or whatever it was in these sprint races, it's always going to be very touch and go if you can get through. It can all go wrong so quickly. So to get through 2 races without any major incidents and get 2 solid results, I achieved all I wanted to really from tonight.
Yeah, mate. Look, I think we had a good watch and saw you make the moves through, which was excellent to see in both races. So obviously now we've got to switch forward to Imola. So we'll let you probably get out of here, get started on the car setups for next round. Obviously go into an enduro, completely different mindset again. But before we let you make way, obviously give us a shout out to all your sponsors for such a great result you had tonight.
Yeah, so of course always to GTI and Carney, our main sponsors, of course. Always big shout out to them for giving us their sponsorship for the team. Was really nice. Obviously Race Center as well, especially, and probably more for a special shout for me than anything, because I'm usually the one that runs the Edge Auto Concepts livery. But big shout out to Edge Auto Concepts for their livery for the Falcon, because obviously because I've been racing it for how long now, awesome job. I absolutely love the livery. I think it looks fantastic, and big shout out to those guys for putting that livery together, because it's absolutely phenomenal. I really like it a lot. So big shout out to them, and obviously to the team as always in general. All the guys awesome to race with and banter with during the races, and just be around to race in that environment. And yeah, looking forward to Imola. Should be a lot of fun.
Thanks very much for coming up tonight, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing you and the boys out there next weekend at Imola.
That's good, guys, and thanks for the broadcast as always. See you next time.
So folks, that was Thomas Hinds finishing in 5th position. Our next interview is with Brian Borg, and he came home in 6th tonight, up 8 positions. Hi Brian, welcome to RRTV's Combox, and well done mate, you jumped 8 positions there, coming home in 6th position in race 2.
P4 mate, come on, get it right.
P4? Okay, I got you down in 6 here.
Yeah, Thomas Hines and Brody had that incident on the last lap, so they redressed and I got them on the last lap.
Ah, of course you did. I was just seeing if you're paying attention.
No, I was paying attention. I done a Craig Lowndes with Shane Van Gisbergen and then David Reynolds there.
Yeah, awesome. So what did you think of race 2? It looked like you're having a lot of fun out there and in the thick of it.
Yeah, same as race 1. You just got to pick your moments. Look, there's some really, really good drivers out there, and tonight there was just, I don't know, a little bit of tension there, but no hard feelings against anyone.
Yeah, I guess when you come to a 60-60 race, there's going to be tension because everyone knows they've only got 15 laps. Bring out a safety car, and I think you end up with 10 laps down to 9 laps to capitalise and get those points.
Yeah, not only that, Bernie, man, we had 58 cars on track, on a track like this, man, that's a lot of cars.
Well, it is, and that was my next question. We saw quite a few drivers have trouble in qualifying to get a clean lap. How did you go? And if you went well with your qualifying, what was your secret?
Well, believe it or not, I started my qualifying doing an interview with you guys. So that's how I started my qualifying. So I was a bit behind the 8 ball, but yeah, P11.
Okay, well that's good. That's really good, because I know from what we've seen tonight is if you get balked and you don't get many runs or many goes at this, if you get balked you're going to be buried in the field down in the 50s, and it takes a good driver to dig themselves out of that hole.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. Like we were just talking about that, you got to pick where your car is, where other cars at track. It's all up to the driver to know where to put his car for that qualifying lap, and yeah, you can win and you can lose a lot.
Certainly can, and looking forward to next week we go to a 650, so the tempo is going to go from extreme to more into the endurance pace. How do you prepare for something like that when you've only got 7 days until the next round?
The night before, Bernie, you cannot prepare for something like that, man. Okay,
so who will you be teaming up with next week?
Not sure.
Okay. No worries. I see what you mean about preparing the night before. Well,
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to hand you over to Daniel, and he might have a few more questions for you.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, look, Brian, great result, mate. You had 2 really good runs this session. Obviously, got a little bit lucky there with Brady and Thomas having that bit of come together at the end, but obviously you were right in it from the onset. So, did you find, if you had to go and do it again, any changes you may have made to the car to possibly get a little quicker on that one at all?
No, car was fine. Car was hooked up, but it's all about qualifying. But in saying that, if you look at both races, both accidents were in the top 10 anyway. So I don't know. Got to pick your spots on races like this.
Well, yeah, and that's pretty evident too. Obviously, we've got Michael Hammond was one of the biggest movers in race 2, up 40 spots from 54th, and as sort of Bernie alluded to, if you don't make that qualifying time, it's pretty hard. So to get all 3 cars tonight up inside the top 15, you guys have done exceptionally well.
And don't forget, guys, that's a 15-lap race with only 15 incident as well. So a lot of cars for little amount of incidents.
Yeah, it sure is. And now we just get ready to go watch you guys do it all again for the 650. So before we let you go, give us a shout out to your sponsors again. They're going to be loving getting a bit of coverage again tonight, mate.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Look, big shout out to Sades Australia for jumping on board. For all you iRacing people listening and looking at the cars, we have a coupon with iRacing 2017, which will get you 20% off any headphones that you want when you look up on their Facebook address on www.sades.com.au. Have a look at them. Great sponsor, and more things to come.
All right, thanks very much for coming in, mate. Congratulations again on 4th in race 2. We'll look forward to seeing you out on track at Imola 7 days' time.
Thanks, guys. Great broadcast.
Fantastic, folks. That was Brian Borg coming home in 4th position tonight. And I guess, Daniel, it has been exciting because I've dug my toenail into my toe so much it's taken the skin off. So that's how tense it's been for me tonight. But anyway, should we have a look at where the drivers stand as far as the points are concerned?
Yeah, definitely. So looking at the results for the first 3 races. So we've got Matt Stratford up in first. He's jumped a couple of spots after tonight's round. Brady Mayers, showing consistency, get you up to the top. He's only 15 points behind Matt in second. Dane Warren, unfortunately, we saw him have that bit of an issue in race 2. That's dropped him from first to third, and he's only 20 points behind. But in a field as close as this, where everyone is right up, having a small incident like that does start to drop you down.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, does it? And then we've got Marlon McMullen. He's moved up 1 position into 4th after that win in race 2. Thomas Hinz, he's also jumped up 2 positions to be equal 5th with Henry King. And then we've got 7th, Jason Bentz up 4 positions, 8th. Jamie McKnight, he's dropped 3. Craig Jones stays in 9th position with Michael Talenjak rounding out our top 10 at the moment. And if you look at the gap from 10th to 1st, you're looking at a good 240 points difference.
Yeah, so the points do fall off a lot, and we saw tonight with a couple of good results from the likes of Dave Miller, getting a 16th tonight in race 2. He's actually jumped 15 spots in this championship, so he's up to 31st at the moment. Sean Thompson, I don't believe we didn't see him in either of those 2 races. He's taken a bit of a hit. He dropped 10 spots. One of the other guys who's normally here is a bit of regular, Pete Sattler. He dropped 10, unfortunately. So it just goes to show, if you're not able to make all the events, you can start falling down a little bit further. But moving on to the Enduros, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of the regulars back. We'll see Pete Sattler back. We'll see Ian Ford back. And there'll be a few others. I'm sure I just can't remember the names at the moment. But we'll definitely see a few more guys turn up and run, which we'd normally see at the top, which will be great.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see when Ian comes back, because he's only done 1 race and he's sitting in 11th position at the moment. So can you imagine where he'd be if he had done the other 2 rounds? Potentially it could have been a lot higher.
Yeah, definitely. And he's only 250 points behind the leader, so not a huge margin, but if he is able to make the next events, I'm sure we're going to see him close that gap to the lead and jump quite a few spots in the process.
Yeah, definitely, and I'll have to have a look at the way the points are. I don't think you get more points for winning Enduro than you do a 60-60, is that right?
No, I don't believe so, but we do have a drop round in this series, so of the 11 rounds that we do, there is one drop. So a lot of the guys that may not have made it tonight, if they are able to make it all the way through, they'll get to can this one event, and obviously we're going to see that adjust further as this series goes on.
Yeah, it's good they do have that drop round because I've just had a look in the chat. A few people there were disqualified basically for being involved in incidents, and as we were saying, 15 incident points doesn't take much. If you're involved in the big one and get a few big hits, it can pretty much spell the end of your night, which it has done for a few of the drivers tonight. But I'm sure they'll all bounce back and get ready for the endurance next Friday night.
Yeah, definitely. I think knowing how the endurance works, we do see that points gap go a little further out. I'm just trying to... I just want to see where we are for that. But we will get, obviously, a bigger points differential to what we see in the sprint rounds, which will be good. But as you said, you get four plus 4 contacts, you're effectively out of this race for something you may not have done. So it is unfortunate for a lot of the guys that were looking to have great results here tonight, but it's a hard one, especially when you got 60 cars on the grid. There's always going to be a bit of rubbing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's where qualifying becomes crucial to your finishing. But as we were saying earlier, Michael Hammond, he started 55th. He worked his way up to 15th in about 9 laps. That's phenomenal racing, and he did a great job there. But turning our attention to tomorrow night, folks. Come back and join us tomorrow night, 10 p.m. GMT plus 10 time. We've got the SRA Sim Racing Asia GTE Asia Pacific GTE series, and Daniel, you won't be with us tomorrow night. You'll be off having a bit of a break, but we'll have Wei Han Chan in with me in the comm box.
Yeah, I'll miss that one, unfortunately. Obviously, I will catch the broadcast, but look, that's been a great series. We've had a couple of events so far, and the racing has been quite exciting. We've got a couple of star guys that are that little bit up on the rest of the pack at the moment, and I'm expecting with the way that series is aligned with the official iRacing series, we're going to start seeing guys start nailing those setups. And I would like to see, as that goes on, we're going to see possibly the top 10, top 20 cars in each split racing door to door like we're seeing in the V8s here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome racing. And then, of course, Monday night, we will be having the Monday Night Lights back on RRTV, and I must apologise for last Monday night. There was an emergency I had to attend to, so we could not broadcast the last round of the Monday Night Lights, but we'll definitely be back this Monday night. And if you're wondering how to find when we're broadcasting, folks, there's a few ways. One is on iRacing Live. Most of our broadcasts are featured there. The other one is you can subscribe to us on YouTube and or Twitter, and you'll be notified through them. I think YouTube, you've got to put the little bell or something on, don't you, so it sends you an email?
Yeah, I believe so, and then if you subscribe to the channel, normally you get it as a notification anyway. But look, that series is going strength to strength at the moment, so look for that to continue. But it's always good to see the amount of participation we're getting in a lot of these events now. So if you want to see some good close racing, jump on, have a watch, and it will be great.
Yeah, definitely will be. I know the SRA is very popular. I think the first round we had 60, and it was a lot like tonight's race, very action-packed. Then last round they had 47 drivers, I think, turn up. So hopefully we'll be back in the 50s again tomorrow night. But Daniel, I should let you get some sleep, mate, because 11:20 p.m. and I don't know if you've got to get up early to do whatever you're doing.
Yeah, you have to get up early at some point. It might be time to do a few laps to sort of unwind from the excitement of tonight's broadcast. But no, look, thank you. It's been great to see the racing in both races tonight. The guys done exceptionally well. Thanks to the viewers that have tuned in and continued to hear us yabber on for a little bit. I think we've still got 25 guys watching this at the moment. So very very big thank you to the viewers that are still watching on YouTube. And yeah, I guess now we look forward to Imola in the next 7 days.
Yeah, and that's going to be very interesting, that's for sure. But anyway, Daniel, thanks for joining me tonight. Also, thanks to all the viewers tonight for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our coverage of the Australian Online Supercar Championship at Zolder. It was definitely very entertaining to call, that's for sure. But folks, hopefully you'll come back and join us tomorrow night. But until then, have a fantastic Friday night, what's left of it, and relaxing Saturday, and hopefully we will see your coverage, you will see our coverage again soon. But until then, folks, it's good night from me, and Daniel, you're going to say it's good night from him?
Yes, it's good night from Daniel and Bernie, and we will look forward to seeing everyone on Monday night for that race and for the V8s on next Friday at Imola.
Yeah, fantastic. Until then, folks, have a great night, and we will speak to you again soon. Good night.